Maayong adlaw sa tanan!
Maayong adlaw!
Welcome to our podcast, Voices from Kalapit. We are your hosts. I'm Angeline.
I'm Ashley. Rilin here. Hello, I'm Felcy.
And I'm Eugene, proud, pure Boholano, all the way from Calape.
Today, we're diving into a topic that really hits close to home. Is linguistic diversity in classroom a challenge or an asset to learning outcomes? Now, this sounds academic, pero kung atong palandungan, it's something we've all experienced as students and soon as teachers.
Bitaw, like remember how in school, we'd speak Binisaya during break time. Pero once the bell rings, we had to switch to English or Filipino instantly. That switch can be confusing sometimes.
Tinuod gyud, that shift isn't just about language. It affects how we understand lessons, how confident we feel to speak up, and how we can connect with our teachers and classmates.
So today, we'll unpack that. What are the struggles? What are the wins? And what can we do better?
Let's begin by understanding what linguistic diversity actually means and why it matters especially in multilingual countries like the Philippines.
Now that we've set the stage, let's break down exactly what we mean when we talk about linguistic diversity.
Linguistic diversity refers to the presence of multiple language within one environment. In our case, it's our classroom.
Sa ato pa, it's like when you have students who speak different mother tongues or when teachers use multiple languages like English, Filipino, and Bisaya during lessons.
So here in Bohol, we speak Cebuano, Bisaya daily life. But in school, English is used in science, math, and even in computer. Filipino is used only for early panlipunan, so kabalog ito mo just depending on the subjects.
So, imagine being a grade 1 student trying to learn numbers in English. When you've only spoken Bisaya at home, that's already a language challenge.
Linguistic diversity can come from regional languages, dialects, even students with different language backgrounds, like Waray, Taoso, Ilocano, or many more.
And with the K-12 curriculum in place, language plays a major role in the delivery of content and in how learners participate in class.
So the question really is, when everyone speaks differently, does that help or hurt learning?
Now that we've defined what linguistic diversity is, let's dive into some of the challenges that come with it.
Let's begin with the challenges. For one is the language barriers.
Yes, when the medium of instruction is different from the learner's first language, comprehension really suffers. A student may know the answer, pero dili siya kahibalo unsaon niya pag-express sa English.
Mauna, they hesitate to speak. They feel shy or worse, they feel deliberate just because they can't articulate in English.
Another challenge is the pressure on the teachers. Not all are trained in multilingual strategies. Some just translate word for word, but that doesn't always help.
Yes, and textbooks are mostly in English. When kids can relate, they get bored or confused, like how do you explain snow or trench coat to kids in Bohol who have never seen any winter.
And that disconnect affects engagement. Language becomes a barrier instead of a bridge.
Also, national exams are in English and Filipino. So students from regions like ours may feel at a disadvantage compared to those who grow up in Tagalog-speaking areas.
So when students are afraid to make mistakes, classroom participation drops. Teachers might think the students doesn't know the lesson, where in fact they just don't know how to say it in the required language.
And for some parents, they feel helpless too. If they don't speak English fluently, they can support their child's schoolwork effectively.
So we've talked about the struggles, but let's shift gears now and focus on the positive sides. What are the benefits of having linguistic diversity in the classroom?
But here's the good news. Linguistic diversity also brings strength. Dili lang puro problema.
Correct. Using the mother tongue makes the lesson more relatable. Students learn faster when the language feels familiar.
That's the goal of MTB-MLE or the Mother Tongue-Based Multilingual Education. It builds foundational skills using the child's first language.
And from there, students transition to Filipino and English. It's like a ladder. You start where the student is, then slowly go up.
And also, being multilingual improves cognitive flexibility. Students who speak more than one language tend to think more creatively and adapt better.
It boasts identity too. Speaking Visaya in school tells students your voice, your culture, and your language matters.
And we can design lessons that include local stories, terms, and examples, like instead of apples and snow, why not use mangoes and tuba?
True! That local connection makes learning more engaging.
And let's not forget, language is not just a tool for academics. It shapes how we think, how we express emotion, and how we relate with others.
So imagine a classroom where students are encouraged to use their language proudly without fear of being corrected or judged. That's a confident classroom. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on some of our own personal experiences and observations when it comes to linguistic diversity in classrooms.
You know, I had a classmate before in junior high school who always topped in science exams. But oral recitations, grabe ang iyang kakulba and dili niya kaya ang English.
Same, naagyo dingon ana, bright pero hilumon. Hilumon lang siya kay dili confident sa English.
So as a future teachers, we need to create a safe space. Dapat laro nga it's okay to make mistakes and it's okay to ask in Bisaya if needed.
Ako, I plan to give short translations sa lesson, like explain the term in English, then quickly clarify in Bisaya.
And classroom discussion can begin in the mother tongue, then students write their answers in English. It builds both comprehension and confidence.
I remember my younger cousin learning best when songs and games were used in Bisaya first. Then the teacher switched to English and it worked.
Small things like visuals with local context also help. Posters, charts, and labels in both English and Bisaya. Now that we've shared some of our personal experiences, let's wrap up with some actionable recommendations for how we can improve the way we handle linguistic diversity in classrooms.
So what can we do better?
First, more teachers training. In multilingual education, dili lang ka theory but actual strategies.
Then, localized materials. Textbook, modules, even videos nga na ay Bisaya content.
Also, let's involve parents. Encourage them to read at home in any language. Learning is not just in the classroom.
And most importantly, let's promote pride in our language. Bisaya is not less than. It's beautiful and it's powerful.
We need policy support too. DepEd and CHED should continue strengthening MTBMLE and monitor how it's implemented in rural areas.
If we value our own languages, we produce learners who are not just academically competent, but also rooted in their identity.
So to wrap up, is linguistic diversity a challenge or an asset?
Both!
But when we support it properly, it becomes a powerful asset.
One that builds a stronger minds, deeper connection, and more inclusive learning.
From our hearts here in Calape, daghang salamat for joining us.
Let's keep learning, teaching, and growing together.
Padayon mga Boholano!